Jesse Areola
Oh
says, how many
God.
points guys think Iowa will score against Michigan's D? Before you answer, Dre, I will say I was on, um, so on Wednesday, the Iowa channel, I was watching Corey's stream. No, not Wednesday. It had to be Thursday or Tuesday. Anyway, but Iowa fans, before today's game, were terrified. They were like, if we're doing this against South Dakota, like, what is going to happen against Michigan? And then even today, I checked out a bit of the post game for Iowa, and people, and this was all Iowa fans because I hung in there a little bit to kind of see, if there was any like Iowa State trolls, like any Cyclone, comments. There was none of that. It was just
It's
all
kind of
Iowa
sad,
fans
Des, to be
who were
honest with
just upset about the game. And I mean, I saw multiple times different people commenting, Michigan's going to blank us. So, with that being said, what are your thoughts? How many points do you think Iowa will score against Michigan's defense?
I mean, dude, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I don't think they'll score because you gotta understand how like historically bad this Iowa offense is. Like it's not like they've like guys think about this. They have scored 14 points the last 2 weeks, and mind you, like you said, Des, last week, what was it? They scored
It was only
seven in
three
total.
that the offense scored. The
So 10
defense had
points.
two
So 10
safeties.
points. Their offense has put up 10 points in the last 2 weeks versus South Dakota State and Iowa State. Please help me if I'm missing like some defensive juggernauts. No. Okay, so it's like it's sad. It's actually sad. Like to see it's embarrassing. And I'm not even an Iowa fan, but I'm embarrassed for the Big Ten. Is how bad they look. You can't be, especially in today's football, college football. This is almost impossible to be as bad as they are offensively. Look, it's a disappointing because that's a game that I circled that I'm like, hey, maybe that'll be the first true test for this team. But yeah, yeah, it's rough in Kinnick right now, baby. So to answer your question, Jesse, I don't think they'll score. I feel silly saying that, but that's how bad they've been
Yeah, I
offensively.
mean, yeah, I feel more confident this year than I did in the Big Ten championship, and I've mentioned it multiple times on how confident I was there. So yeah, their offense is just so predictable. Their quarterback play is bad. Their scheme is elementary. It's not even high school. Like there's just, and I'm sorry to be so harsh, but but this is Brian Ferentz. This has been him for the last 2 years since he's been there, since he's
It
been the
can't be this
OC.
bad,
Like
Des.
he's awful.
This is
Like
ridiculous,
he needs to
though.
be fired. Like I don't understand. Well, I don't understand why Kirk is keeping him as the offensive coordinator. And my thought is, and I actually made this comment on Corey's channel. I'm like, Kirk Ferentz has a sickening level of content for what that program is. And they were in the Big Ten championship last year. I get it. I understand, that is a very successful thing. Only 10 programs get there. But you didn't have a shot in that game. There was none at all. And now you're starting you're almost building off of that lack of success with your offense that now it's now coming back to bite you in the butt. And it's unacceptable to have this type of offense. I mean, to me, he needs to look at let me take a look at the top 10 offenses in the FCS, and let me call those 10 offensive coordinators to see if they want to be my OC, because that's what Mike Gundy did, and they flipped their offense, like, I mean, in a year or two. Now I think that OC has since moved on, but that's basically what he did. He took the best offensive coordinator as far as statistical wise, gave him a call, interviewed him, and hired him. That's what he did. And for Kirk Ferentz, it's like, if you want this to be your program where you got your fans want your son fired, want you fired, think you've lost touch with the game, which I would argue you have. Like, is this what you really want for Iowa? Like,
He reminds me.
if you love this program so much, you should understand that you even either need to make a move at OC, or you need to step down, remove yourself from it, because you are out of touch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He's starting to remind me of D'Antonio the later years with MSU, like a guy who's just content and just kind of like not really. I think sometimes I think coaches really they, you have to be a maniac like to be a really successful coach at this level. You have to be a little bit like you have to be driven, like especially a guy who's been as experienced and been at a school at Iowa as long as Kirk Ferentz have. Like there has to be something within you to keep that fire to want to continue to recruit, to want to be too willing to reinvent, find ways to rejuvenate your program, to reinvent your offense and stuff like that. And that's one thing that Harbaugh, you gotta give him credit for, is that he's never been afraid to, even though he's kind of stubborn in his ways, he's never been afraid to shake things up, with his staffing, and I give him so much credit for that, and it's paid off for him. Like there was this transition that Harbaugh went through. I want to say, what was it, 2017 or 18, when he started to go more towards the spread offense and change things up. And he made the change eventually, albeit a little bit too late in some of our eyes, to get rid of Don Brown. Go a different direction defensively. I mean, because statistically, during most of the season, Don Brown was very successful in terms of how his defense looks. They were like a top 5 defense most of the year. So they start playing teams like Ohio State, and they'll get exposed. But that he eventually made that move. So he's never been afraid of, and been too loyal to people and stuff like that for the most part. So, you gotta give a guy like Harbaugh credit for that compared to a guy like Kirk Ferentz, who is just not like that. And it's embarrassing, man. I can't believe it. You tuned in just to see how people were on Corey's post game show for Iowa, and you say a lot of Iowa fans were ticked off, to say the least. I can't blame them. And I've been there. We've been there as Michigan fans. We've been down and out where, we're frustrated and we've been embarrassed.